Hello and welcome to MS's Chronic. My name is Barney Black, and would you believe this is Season 2, Episode 6. Our 12th guest overall is Bev Malcolm, a lovely lady who I had the pleasure of getting to know through the Perth and Kinross MS Society group over the last few years. Bev's now a key part of the group. They organise various types of get-togethers, quiz nights, charity events, Christmas dinners, all kinds of great stuff, which brings people together in the Perth and Kinross area with multiple sclerosis. Their friends and their families, as well as the people themselves. And you get to hear in this episode Bev's story of being a Blackpool lass who moved to Bournemouth and eventually found her way to the Fair City of Perth. You'll hear about her diagnosis, which was some time ago, and you'll hear how she's dealt with that over the last couple of decades, really. And she also introduced me to an initiative which the Scottish Ballet are involved with called Elevate, which is, I guess, a therapy group, a active group for people with multiple sclerosis. I've looked into it a little bit. I intend to look into that some more. I will also include links to the Scottish Ballet and the Elevate pages in the notes for this particular episode. If you have listened to all of the previous episodes and this is your 12th one, thank you very much. It would be fabulous if you could like, share, point your friends and family in the directions of these particular episodes, because they're really about the people in them as opposed to anything that I do myself. But it would help a wider audience be able to hear just regular folk stories doing incredible things. So put the kettle on, have a cuppa, grab a biscuit, sit back, enjoy, relax, and listen to the story of Bev Malcolm. Thanks for listening. Enjoy. So how you been keeping?
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
It was before Christmas. It was a Christmas
Boxing Day,
wasn't it? Wow, 7 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So just now the recuperation.
Yes. Which isn't quick.
No.
And you want to be doing things because you think in here
you were
you
always
can.
active.
Yes.
Before it, you would be wanting to just keep doing the normal stuff. Eh?
Yes.
But you were saying you're not able to get out of the house for.
No. The physio was here today, and I've got my walker for outside.
Yeah.
I got one. And so we went a little walk last week, and she said, "Oh, we'll go out." So we went a walk on the Inch today. So she was quite pleased with
how you were coping with it.
So next week, there's the ballet, Elevate, Scottish Ballet do exercise classes for MS.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, there you are. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we're about 3 weeks into a new 8-week thing.
Block thing, yeah.
So next week, because she comes on a Tuesday, I'm going to get a taxi with my walker, and then she's going to see how I get on getting out the taxi, and because they do it in the theatre.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Oh well, if you've got time, come up and meet them, because I said they'll be happy to see you." I said, "And if you do have any time at all, stay and watch the class, and you can ask any questions you want."
Where did they do it? At the concert hall?
No, this is in the theatre, in the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the Joan Knight studio sometimes.
Yeah.
So I said, please come in, because I said if you see any other MS patients, you can introduce them to the ballet.
Mm-hmm.
Because Professor O'Riordan thinks it's great. He's trying to get everybody on it.
Oh, I like timing, obviously. Is it a daytime event?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is a shame. But never say never. Definitely interested in that.
It's really good. Because you can do it all sitting down.
Yeah.
So obviously there are people in the wheelchairs and what have you. There are opportunities to stand and, it's not ridiculously
do what you can.
difficult. You just do
Follow
what you
whatever
can. Yes, that's right. And then at the end, there's usually a bit of get into a little group and think of something. One week somebody had to be a piece of toast in a toaster, you know, and yeah, Bobby.
Very good.
Yeah, you know, so there's a bit of free expression.
Yeah.
And then we get a cuppa after, so there's a bit of social
bit.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I like that. And is it just MS or is it other
just
people?
No, the Elevate is just
Elevate.
MS.
I've not heard of that. And so that must be more than just Perth then, organisation. It must cover
I
more
presume so, yes. I mean, I don't know how Scottish Ballet have found their people, other than some of us have done Zoom classes with them.
Elevate.
So.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can just ask.
In fact, it's linked to ballet, because I quite like ballet.
Scottish Ballet. Yeah, it's good.
That's brilliant.
Good. It's really good.
Is it a donation or is it a...
Nope, it's free. Totally free.
How long's it been going?
Oh, 5, 6 years.
Really?
Mm. When I started, there was 4 of us. I've been in it from the beginning. There was 4 of us. And last block, there was 25.
That's good, isn't it? That is good. Getting the interest and then just sticking with it, because interest will come. Definitely does pay just to kind of keep the momentum going, whatever the numbers, because once people begin to hear about it, can be confidence as well for people to go along. Now, they're never sure if they'll fit in or if they can do, maybe they might think about it in a way which is beyond
people
them.
Think, ballet, I can't do ballet. That's why we say it's not. They use ballet terms.
You're not doing the giant swan and swan
lake. No, you do stretch. We were swans.
Oh, you did swans.
Yeah, we did Swan Lake. We were all sitting being swans.
Swans on toast.
Yeah, so...
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so...
I'm going to have to dig that out. I mean, even if it's when I'm on holiday, maybe see if there's a time and a date that coincides with it. That's brilliant. Does the MS Society get involved with that then? Or is
no,
that
it's just Scottish Ballet.
Scottish Ballet and Elevates this, the organisation?
They call it Elevate. They call the classes Elevate.
Right.
And they do them, I presume they do them for Parkinson's and dementia as well.
That's what I was wondering, if it was like a mixed class.
Yeah, we don't have a mixed class. They do it as keep them separate.
The 25 that are MS related that's going along. It shows you in Perth, isn't it? Or around Perth.
Yes.
And Kinross, how many people have got.
Yeah, and that's just 25 who've heard about this.
Well, I'd have been 26.
You're 26, but you know what I mean? It's
definitely, aye.
As I say, I presume most of the people have been done something with Scottish Ballet on Zoom or what have you first and seen it. I just saw it advertised, I suppose, when I'm looking on the, you
any idea how it started?
No, I can just remember going. I don't know how they started it. You can always ask. They'll be pleased to tell you.
Yeah. Is there somebody in the Scottish Ballet, or has it just been an initiative? Somebody, like you said, Professor Reardon was involved.
Yeah, no, he just heard about it and thinks it's brilliant, and so now he's trying to get all his MS patients.
Talks to them about it and then encourages them to go, that's the Reardon connection, got you. Very good. Well, that was a nice wee preamble into multiple sclerosis. This is just a chat with you about multiple sclerosis, but there is no script. I don't have any kind of prepared questions. I've got things off the cuff, which I'd like to hear from you in terms of your journey, but also just about you, as a person. I've got to know you obviously through the MS Coffee evenings along at the ex-service club, and that's been great. And I know that you're, I'd say, heavily actively involved in the Perth and Kinross MS Society group, setting up events, doing your raffle bits and stuff at the meals and everything that we do. Before we get into the MS and how that began, or it began to be something which you became familiar with as a condition that you were going to end up being diagnosed with. Tell us about yourself. Are you from Perth originally?
No, I'm originally from Blackpool. and stayed there. Then when my son was 9, so 1979, my mother and I moved to Bournemouth and had a newsagent. So we ran that. I continued to run it after I lost her. And then in 1989, I think there was a man involved, and I ended up coming up here.
Right, okay.
That relationship didn't last, but my relationship with Perth, I really liked Perth, and so there was no reason for me to leave.
So 40 odd years ago, you're still here? Yeah?
Yes, so I've been here ever since, yes. Very happy. So it's been good. In between that, I did meet and marry, and unfortunately lost him in 2018.
Okay.
So since then, it's just been
yourself. Very good. Thank you for that. Blackpool. So that was 1979. You left Blackpool to go to Bournemouth.
Yes.
That's what you said. Yeah. So two coastal towns.
Two coastal towns.
Very different
yes.
coastal towns.
Two very different ones.
Blackpool
yes.
in the 70s. Is it kind of as it is now? Still?
No, it was vibrant and everything was colourful, and it wasn't run down in the slightest. It was deep. It was a great place to come on holiday.
I went to Blackpool in 1986 on the bus from Perth. Me and 3 pals. 17 maybe 17. All my other pals were across in Magaluf or something, and me and 3 others decided we'll go down to Blackpool. And we'd got to our hotel on Station Road in Blackpool. Yeah.
At least you're at the right end. You're at the south end, which we consider that because I'm from the south end.
Okay,
so
that was a good part.
Yeah, so we consider that the best part because my grandparents had a hotel on the promenade at the south end. So.
Well, that was 1986, 87.
Yeah.
So
we'd finished then.
But it was probably still, it was vibrant.
It was still okay then, yes.
I mean, for a 16, 17-year-old, it was great. I mean, it was just, we were let loose and went daft. But the very first day, after we'd gone to the hotel, we came along and we were heading down to the prom, I guess, down to the piers and things, just to see the lay of the land. And we were passing the bus station, which would be around about that part of the town. And I kid you not, and I didn't know, we turned the corner and I banged into these 2 guys, and it was my 2 cousins who had also travelled down the day before, and we never knew about it. So we hooked up.
All the people in Blackpool, and you bump into them.
Yeah, I wasn't the first 2 people we saw.
No,
but it was like, Neil, oh my God.
You bumped into
fantastic.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, great times. Met a couple of Irish girls, and one of those weeks, it was a funny week. That's another podcast altogether.
Yes, but that's Blackpool.
Yeah, because it was a destination place in the summer holidays and stuff. Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing you expect, that you meet a couple of lassies.
It's a lot of fondness for me.
Yes, and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a great laugh.
Yes.
So, you're in Perth. When did you begin to get symptoms which began to become multiple sclerosis? When were you diagnosed with multiple sclerosis?
I was diagnosed in 94.
All right, okay. So not that long after you'd come up to Scotland, but 14 years or so.
Yes.
12, 13, 14 years. And leading up to that, what were the journey? How did it get to the diagnosis?
Well, I started getting bad pains in my back. And you think, it's just backache, it's this, it's that. So you don't do anything for ages. And then it was getting worse, and it was going down my leg a bit. And I thought, So I thought, I better go to the doctors. So I went, got an appointment. You could get appointments then.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
And so he said, oh, yes, it's just backache. Go swimming. And I thought, I don't think so. It's more than that.
Mm.
It's not just I've put my back out. There was something about the pain that wasn't backache pain.
Funny thing, because you know, trying to describe it and then how a doctor might listen to what you're describing, they have a kind of medical thought process. But I think there's something about how you know your body yourself, which makes you always, not that you know better or differently, but maybe not understanding exactly what it is you're trying to get across.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. He was the blustery, no nonsense doctor in the group. So it was, oh, you've got a bad back. Yes. He had a quick prod and, oh yeah, no, it's fine. Just
Dismissive,
go swimming.
Almost, yeah.
So I thought, no. So I thought, oh, I'll go and see a different doctor. Go and see a different doctor in the practice. And I got one of the main doctors, and he had a good look and yeah, okay, right. Hey, I'm going to send you to see somebody, and that somebody was whoever was doing Professor O'Riordan's.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's like
yeah. Well, he sent me to the hospital to see someone who decided it. Maybe he didn't tell me it was MS, but then he sent me for an MRI and
right. Okay.
And that was so. Then I went to see Professor O'Riordan to sort of get it
formally diagnosed.
Yeah. So we went through it, and then you just said, "Well, I wouldn't put it in writing, but you've got MS."
Thanks, Doc. That was 1990 what? 1994.
So then he said it's primary progressive.
Straight away.
Yes.
And so it's maybe my ignorance, but I know primary progressive means that the relapses tend to continue to lead to further difficulties. Then they're not a relapse, sorry.
It just progresses.
Yeah, what do you call them? It's not a relapse, it's
I don't know. I can't think of the word.
I'll edit it in. The episode.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll call it the episode.
So so I wouldn't put it in writing, but you've got MS. So thanks a lot. Off you go. So I think then they knew nothing about progressive.
And you've I say only, but the symptoms you had were simply leading to a bad back and pain in the leg.
But then there was obviously something about the pain and the fact that there was the electricity.
Yeah. So that kind of numbness, the shocks,
the numbness,
the feeling of,
because that had arrived. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that had arrived by the time I saw O'Riordan.
Right. Okay. And then an MRI, was that in Edinburgh, Dundee?
Dundee.
In Dundee.
Yes, because they didn't have one in Perth then. You still had to go to Dundee.
Okay.
So obviously that showed up.
Yeah. Whatever. And so did you get to see, because it would have been MRI scans, but was Professor O'Riordan at the time was able to show you the scans and let you see where the lesions were?
No. Just, I wouldn't put it in writing, but you've got MS. So obviously the lesions there wasn't much.
Yeah.
To see, I don't know. But anyway,
I never
you were
got
going
to say, because in 1994, I think you were going to say back then.
Yeah, I don't think they knew anything about primary progressive. I don't suppose. I mean, they didn't know the research wasn't as advanced in remitting, relapsing. So, and that was the one that they paid more attention to. I think primary progressive was just the poor relative. So it was just a case of go and get on with it.
I was going to say, so in 1994, so medication, I think most people know, if you're aware of MS, it's really been the last 20 years where medication's been made available. However, it's really only available for the lapsing medication to stem it in its flow. For anybody that knows me, they know that I've got that type, and I take dimethylfuminate when I remember. And that's designed to reduce the likelihood, or if you have a a relapse in my case, lessen the impact or lessen what it does after the effect. But for you, you've getting told in a very matter-of-fact way, MS, I'm not going to write it down, but that's what you've got, and then off you trot.
Yeah. Not, this is what will happen, this is what I can do for you, this is just the way you go, get out of my, you know.
Do you remember how you felt? Or how you, what you were thinking?
I think most of it was the fact that how unhelpful he was.
Yeah.
You know, he's telling me I've got something that I know very little about. I mean, I'd heard of it, but, you know, you don't pay a lot of attention.
Any family, any...
So, yes, well, I was married, a family with MS.
Yeah.
I'd heard way back that a cousin had it, but never heard about anybody else with it. So that was, as far as I know, it was just me and my cousin. And I don't know whether hers was remitting, relapsing or whatever, because they lived down south, so I didn't get to see them a lot, especially once I'd lost my mum, because it was her brother, so you know how you lose.
Yeah, this is, I suppose.
Yes, so you can come up, Max. So I was sort of MS. What's MS? You know. So I knew a bit about it. Nothing about primary progressive. I just knew about MS. So I went home and told my husband, and he sort of looked at me as if I'd grown two heads, you know, because he knew less about it than I did. Yeah. And but he was, you know, when we found out more about it, and as it progressed a little bit, I mean, he was very supportive, so that was fine. So the symptoms didn't get a lot worse. It's that then the next thing that happened, my left side left me.
Okay.
It is, I can point you now, it's a line right down, and that leg and all that feels like it's there. It's not attached to me.
Okay, so it's kind of
it's numb, but it's not mine.
Yeah. Has that been a constant?
Constant.
And when did that
appear? Probably started a couple of years after I was diagnosed.
Okay.
It gradually came worse.
And at that, I don't know, did you go back to say, look, I've got
Well, I was still seeing, he was still seeing me every 6 months then.
All right, okay.
So, but he wasn't, again, I don't think they knew a lot, so it was...
And was it, so, because you're right, I don't think there was much in the way of have this, do this, but was there any conversation around any type of therapies, physical, medical?
No, not
just you would go along every 6 months.
Yes, and how's you walking?
Yeah.
You know, well, it's okay, but my left side's not. All right. This was still when he didn't look at you. And but what I was going to say, after a while, it was when the NHS was starting to have the problems like they've got now with, and I think they wanted to cut down on unnecessary appointments.
Okay.
So he decided he didn't need to see me anymore. And the way he told me, he says, well, there's not a lot of point in me seeing you because you've got the wrong type of MS.
Basically saying there's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah, and that's what he said, and there's nothing I can do for you.
Wow.
So he said, if they make a cure, if they get a cure, I'll call you back. And that was it, off you trot. And I thought, well, and that was me. Didn't have, you know, I mean, my GP I was lucky I had a good GP, but he couldn't do a lot.
Yeah.
You know, with anti-inflammatories to try, that was about the best they could do then.
Wow. Which
is what I took for long enough. It was really just...
That's the mid to late 90s. As you're going through the years, losing your left side, that kind of split physically that you feel. Because it was the right side that you first had
Yes.
as well.
Yes. It was
So
the right side I had the back pain, which eased a bit, or I got used to it.
you tolerate it more.
You
your
tolerate
levels
it,
of
don't
just
you? Yes.
living with it.
And the left side was bothering me more.
Yeah.
Because it was uncomfortable.
Aye.
It's like the inside of your mouth goes numb. Okay. So it feels like you've been to the dentist.
Mm-hmm. I hate this, but yeah.
But so that can be like that.
Yeah.
And the rest of that's it. So I was out, cut loose.
Wow, just to get on with life.
Yeah,
and
just get on with it.
And
yeah,
maybe kind of.
And just with my GP. So.
My goodness, and anti-inflammatories, maybe some painkillers,
time
to time and things.
Yeah. So for long enough, there was nothing. I just sort of managed it.
Wow.
By myself, and because there was computers, there weren't computers and things then for you to look it up, and you go in the library and it's.
I would guess in the library back then, because everything is different now, because books are 10 a penny, the internet is easy accessible. I would suspect any research or anything that you were to find largely would be fairly academically written.
Yeah.
It'd be in encyclopedias or medical books or that kind of stuff, rather than people's stories or biographies or anecdotal.
So, really, I just managed. I just managed it, because there wasn't much else we could do.
No. And as you're managing it, as you're finding out the bits that you can, because I got to a point when looking at information, I began to find the same information, but I kept looking for more information on the off chance it might be slightly different, and it was much more accessible to me because my diagnosis has only been in the last 2017, so 8 years or so, whatever it is. I began to pull back from it, I think, a little bit. But for you, because you're still in almost in a void of information, because it's limited.
Yes, and that's it. I mean, as I say, my GP did what he could, but he was as lost as I was, and I was gradually getting, the fatigue was coming in, but there's nothing written down. Well, people with MS, suffer from fatigue, and
was there at any point apart from MS? Was there any point where your doctor would consider an alternative diagnosis, or consider maybe there was something else going on, or was it revisited in any way?
No, I was left to get on with it.
Right. Okay. Wow. And then, so from the late 90s into the early 2000s, you talked about fatigue, which is a key symptom, which possibly is underestimated by people, but I've had one serious bout of fatigue, and it floored me for 3 days.
Oh yes, mine can.
And I mean, I'm not talking about just feeling knackered.
No, I know.
I
making it. I can't make it.
Up.
No, getting out of bed was
just not happening.
No.
So you had the fatigue.
Yes.
And bouts of it. It sounds like over
time. And that I decided. I gave up work in '99. Because I was coming home from work, I was still working in pain, but as you do, you plough through it. And, they knew, I didn't tell them at work, but they knew my back was bad, and they appreciated I was
trying and coming in and putting up with it.
Because it was constant. Even though it was my left side, that, as you say, I can't feel the pain was in my right side. And so this was gradually getting more numb, and so I was sort of coming home and having something to eat, and then being ready for bed. Oh, that's ridiculous. And then we had a week's holiday. We didn't go anywhere. We just stayed at home and relaxed. And thought, this is great. Felt better when I went into work Monday. Came home from work. That was it. I was exactly the same. I'd been off a week, and I thought, no, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm giving up.
Yeah.
So that's when
And it's a different feeling than from being tired or exhausted. It's a completely different thing.
People don't
It's an
understand
emotional
it.
thing as much as a physical thing, and that it's all parts of your being are affected by fatigue. It's not a tiredness.
Yes, it's not a tiredness. It's not that you've got, you've done too much sport and you're fatigued.
And if you've a rest, you'll be all right.
Yes.
It's a completely different thing altogether. Yes. It's really hard to explain.
That's right. People don't, unless you've got MS, you can't explain it, can you?
Yeah.
So yes, I gave up work in 99.
So 99, you've given up work. You've had various symptoms. We're going into the 2000s, and any other symptoms over that kind of 5 to 10 year period?
No, really. It was just I was lucky. It was obviously in a rest period. It stayed once I'd given up work. It reached a plateau, I think, and stayed for a while.
Stabilised, but still got the symptoms. They're still there. They're still
So I just got on with it. So I'd finished, left work. So that was helping the fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
But then it gradually got
more intense again. Yeah, okay.
So, and I thought, but my GP never said, I think we'll send you back to O'Riordan, because there wasn't anything new.
Because again, with the progressive MS, even relapsing, I guess, to some degree, but certainly with progressive MS, the little I know about it is, particularly from the time from when you were diagnosed to the early 2000s, all you can say is, I've got these symptoms. Yep, and unless they can identify a different source to what's causing that symptom, it's largely going to be, that's your progressive MS. It does that.
Yeah, that's right. Whether it did or not, that's what progressive MS does. Yeah, that's right.
Because I think there's something like 25, 26 symptoms attributed to multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, that's right. So your doctor can just say, it's your MS. Yeah.
Unless there's something obviously saying, it's I don't know, it's your heart or...
Yes, that's it.
Whatever.
But if it's just something general that they don't really know, it'd be your MS. Just my mind, just gradually
getting worse. And did you get any... more MRIs in that 10, 15 year period?
No, I was just sort of left in limbo. Wow. I was kind of ignored.
Wow. So when did you start to tell people that you had multiple sclerosis?
Oh, I always told people.
So fairly early on?
Yes, it didn't bother me telling people.
Right, okay. Did they ask you any questions about it? I mean, they would know as much as you, I guess.
Yeah, I know. No, it was just, you get a lot of fatigue and pain, and right, okay.
I think when I might have done it myself, but I'm pretty sure a couple of people confused multiple sclerosis with ME, just because of the similarity in the letters more than anything else. Because most people don't know anything about either, unless they're involved directly, one way or another. Right. So there was that. So you've gone through the early 2000s, fatigue, numbness, pain. At what point did you begin to be involved with others with multiple sclerosis in terms of like community?
After I lost my husband.
Right, okay. So quite recently then?
Yeah, 2018 I lost him.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of read things, MS Society, Perth MS Society, but my husband wasn't well, so the two of us were sort of propping each other up, at home. Yeah. So with no time, I had no time to think about
life.
That's right.
With each other's lives.
Yes. So after I'd lost him, I thought, we'll see,
Yeah.
And it was coming up. Lost him in the October and a Christmas lunch. So I phoned, was the lady who was secretary then, and said I'd like to come. Yes, certainly. Come along. So I did, and then Kathleen Henderson grabbed me and said, "Oh, that's fine. Yes. Oh, I've got someone who I'd like to meet." So she took me to meet somebody. "Please, Kath, look after this lady." So, and that was fine. We sort of bonded as friends, and we're still friends now. So that was like the first. And then I just got more being a nosy bism.
Inquisitive.
Yeah, nosy. Yes, inquisitive. I sort of, you think, oh, what's so committee? How's it work? Because when we had the newsagents, I joined the Newsagents Federation and the committee, and being a nosy, I like to know how things.
There's also a degree of wanting
work.
To be involved.
Yes, but the MS, it was being involved. Yes,
but even the committee for the newsagent, there's
yes, it was the same thing. Yes, I like to take part. As I say, I like to know how things work and how they go on, how organisations work. I say it's just pure nosy. So then I asked if there was a room on the committee. Yes, please come along. So that's how I got involved on a deeper level with the committee.
So let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. You've gone there end of Christmas lunch 2018. You've began to want to know more about the MS group. How quickly from Christmas lunch to getting onto the committee was it?
Oh, it must have been 18 months.
Okay, so and you've kept going all along. I guess you'd be one of the more regular attendees to it, keeping the numbers going, sharing it.
Yes, and just, helping out wherever.
So before you become part of the committee to encourage others and involve others, what were you getting from being a part of the group?
Just being able to talk to people who understood without having to explain. You can say something, and even though your MS, everybody's MS is a different journey, you can I know, so I've had something like that. Oh yeah, I know. And that was a relief, because it was finding other people. I'd been isolated with it till then, so that was nice. That there was people who understood.
Yeah, on the same page.
On the same page, yes.
Yeah,
so that.
Things like fatigue, I think, they get that.
Yeah.
The various symptoms that you've got, you get that. If you say to somebody about the MS hug that's had MS or has MS, you don't have to explain what the MS hug is.
No, that's right. So I found that good. It made me feel part of something that people understood.
Yeah.
And you could have a laugh about it.
Yeah, there's a dark humour to it.
The dark humour, yes. Yeah. And my sense of humour is very dark anyway, so I grabbed onto that. Yes.
But I think that's what these certainly mean. I've not been a regular attendee. I keep using excuses like time and work.
Well, that's it. You're working. It's so much easier when.
Yeah. But I've been more regularly recently.
Yes, you have.
And I am trying to make a better effort, because I feel being a part of the community is important to be visible.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because, like you said, 25 people at the ballet thing that we just started talking about. Now, that's a lot of people.
Yes.
But there's so many more that don't necessarily know about it or haven't had the confidence yet to go along. Because when you first went along, because you're obviously going through a really emotional period, you've just lost your husband. A couple of months later, you're going to meet a group of unknowns. What can you remember how you felt when you first went along?
Well, yes, I was okay. I thought I wanted to meet a new group of people, but I had no idea what it was going to be like. But was quite a bit apprehensive, because you don't know. what it's like. But
And where was it? Because there's been a few different venues for the
yes,
first
I
one.
don't know where we
Can you
were
remember
going
where?
then. Oh, Asda.
Oh, the cafe in Asda.
No, they gave us a room.
Oh, did they? Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
they gave us a room that they used for meetings and things.
Okay.
So they gave us that free of charge.
Nice one.
So that was nice.
That's good.
So yeah, so that's where we went. So
So you got involved with the you started to go as just a regular.
well, yes, because
And then-
really it was getting me to meet people because with my husband not being well,
Yeah.
the two of us had become pretty isolated. So after I lost him, I thought, no, I've got to.
Get
It
out.
would have been easy just to
Stay that way, yeah. Just be yourself. And,
just not.
Mhm.
And I thought, no, can't do that.
No, well done for you, because I think it takes confidence, courage. I don't know, just a whole load of different things
Yes.
to push yourself on.
Yes, but I knew I had to, otherwise I would just be sitting in the house, not talking to anybody. It's not doing me any good.
No.
So that's what made me get involved too,
Okay.
because I knew I needed to
Yeah.
talk to people.
Yeah.
And who else was I gonna go and meet? You know, I couldn't go to a Keep Fit group. I couldn't.
You went to try and meet like-minded folk.
Yes.
And then take it from there.
Yes.
With no kind of expectation other than just see what it's like.
Yeah.
And here we are, 7 years on. You're on the committee. You're a key part of keeping the group going and the engagement with other people with multiple sclerosis. So thank you for that. Because I've been to a few dinners now, and you're obviously a key part of entertainment. Not necessarily that's the role, but you do provide fun and entertainment during things like the raffle and everything else. But
well, yes. Otherwise, a raffle can get boring, can't it?
yeah, you've got to get the crowd involved.
Yes.
So being a part of the committee, how has it changed? How has the MS group for the Perth and Kinross one? How has it changed since you've been involved?
The secretary retired.
Okay.
So we're all sat around the table. Oh, we need a new secretary. Oh, Bev, you haven't got a job. You can.
You do it. But I bet you weren't shy in coming forward for it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Because I trained as a secretary anyway, you know,
Right.
a private secretary.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was quite happy to take on secretary.
Right.
I thought, so yes. So we've been able to, like Jan and Steve, and I mean, we're short of a couple of committee members, but that's all right. The four of us are managing as is.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly enjoy the times when I do get along. I love the fact that you can get a free massage, and coffee and biscuits, and there's always somebody bringing some sort of home baking or suggesting it's home baking, or they've left the packet in the car. So I think it's a great thing.
I do. The last time I took cakes, I took the lemon.
The lemon drizzle.
Yeah, the lemon drizzle. One of the girls said, "Oh, yeah, who baked this?" And I just said M&S. Everybody felt she thought somebody had homemade.
So you were honest. Other people might have said, "Well, you know what?"
Yeah, I was in the kitchen. I was up till 2:00 this morning making it.
Just
Yeah,
knocked this up before I came along tonight.
yeah.
The question I was going to ask actually just dawned on me. So you've gone there 2019, then 2020 comes along, and then the whole kind of you got to stay at home because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. How did the MS groups continue during that period? Was
Did it
just through
resume?
Zoom and stuff? Zoom quizzes and
Yes, we didn't really do anything
Okay.
because we hadn't done a quiz or anything then. So nothing happened. The MS Society weren't doing anything. So all we could do was, if somebody phoned up, there wasn't really anything we could do to
because everybody was
at
limited
home.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so if someone, let's say, I'm coming along for the first time, or I'm looking for a group because I've got MS and I'm looking for those like-minded folk, how would you describe the group? How would you describe what it is, what it does?
It's a group of like-minded people where you can come along and ask anything you want to ask, anything at all. If you don't want to ask anything and just sit and listen, you can just sit and listen. You don't have to join in at all. But if you just have, happy to be in the company, and you can take things on because there's always something to learn. But yeah, and it's just there when we meet. It's just there to enjoy ourselves, have a laugh.
Yeah.
But you can ask anything. You can ask anything. You can bring a subject to talk about, anything.
It is open. It's very open.
It's very open. And we've done that over the last few years, made it more open.
Yeah.
As I say, with the old guard going, we were able to evolve it so that that's the kind of group we want, that's open. You can say what you want. You can, but you don't have to. As I say, you can just come along.
You're not going around the group and saying, right, Barney,
it's your
what's
turn.
Your turn?
Yes, that's right.
What's your story and what's that? So a couple of things. I think it's really important. So if anybody is listening to this and isn't sure about coming along to a group like the Perth and Kinross one or wherever people happen to be, the ability, because I've seen that. I've seen some of the people come along and they come along to be a part of it, but they don't need to take part in it, which is great.
Yes.
There's a comfort in that for them, just to be there listening and just maybe even just getting out, because it's maybe the only real opportunity in the time.
And finding that there are other people with the same, not the same problems that they have, this aches, that's sore, this problem. But in general, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same but different. Everybody's
same
symptoms.
But different. The other thing, and we talked a little bit about the humour and the dark humour, I think everybody's got a degree of that, the dark humour.
I think you have to cope with MS.
Being talked about.
Yes.
It's really intimate.
Yes, it is intimate. Yes.
And to do that, it's once a month. I guess the one in Perth in the evening that I try and get along to. To do that even with people who've come along for the first time is really quite bold.
Yes.
There's a lot of confidence required, but there's a degree of humour and stoicism and all those kind of things which make people prepare to face into it. And hopefully giving people confidence. That's what I feel I get from it. I know a question was asking you, and there was something else. Oh, this happens to me all the time.
It's your MS.
I'll take that. It's not age. It's nothing to do with my age.
No, nothing's ever to do. If you've got MS, nothing's ever to do with your age.
It's another one of those.
It's just a symptom of your MS. Sorry.
It was the third thing. We talked about confidence, humour, intimacy. Oh, it was in that group of people, the range of symptoms or the range of how it's affected people visibly, physically, because you can't tell emotionally, you can't see the emotions of people. You can obviously gauge in how you're interacting and what's going on in people's conversations. But the thing for me, I always feel that I'm really, really lucky with my MS because it hasn't debilitated me. I've got symptoms, I've got numbness, I've got all things which are just really annoying. But there are other people who need the use of a wheelchair or walkers, or they've got tremors going on. There's a whole range of symptoms around the table, and everybody's equal, which is pretty powerful as well.
Yes.
There's no hierarchy of MS.
No. Oh, my symptoms are worse than yours.
Yeah, it's not a bingo call out. MS hug, house, let's meet.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got all of these. Yeah.
There's no...
Go to the top of the class, you've got all these symptoms.
And I guess another side of that, there's no... faux sympathy. There's no false sympathy. There's no kind of... I don't know how to describe it. Do you get what I'm...
Yes, I know what you mean.
That there's no... kind of, I don't know what it is I'm trying to describe.
No, but you can.
But
say,
nobody's there taking pity on the other
no,
person.
that's right.
There's an acceptance that the reason that group has managed to find each other is because multiple sclerosis has led them through that coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's no judgment. There's no, I don't know, categorization there's no scale. There's no scale.
No,
everybody's there because
that's right. It doesn't matter if you've got 50 symptoms or 3.
Yeah, everybody can relate.
You can relate.
There's an equality.
Yes, you can relate on some level.
Yeah.
To
which is what I find quite important about these spaces.
Yeah.
You know?
Mine was like that when I first started, Yeah. It is. It's everybody. It's a level playing field for everybody.
Yeah. What have been the highs with the group since you've been involved? What do you think are the high points or the highlights of the activities and things?
Starting the quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily me being quiz master. I didn't see that happening. But I think it was good to get something else than just the lunches.
Yeah.
So that's a good high. The fact that when we get a good turnout at the lunch.
Yeah. The lunches have been great.
Yeah.
The last couple I've been on have been amazing.
Because after COVID, it's been hard to build up the numbers again.
Right, okay.
It's a bit the same with the monthly meetings.
Yeah.
Because people got so used to staying in, and some people are still frightened to come out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
because of the immune system and everything is.
That's right, your immune system's compromised, yes. Battered. So there are a lot of people who hesitant and gradually, you know.
Because even the few times that I've been there, I've seen new faces come and go. And I guess people test the water. And maybe like me, just getting there regularly is not as easy.
No, but at least you want to come when you can.
Yeah.
And certain people come and it's not for them, that's fine. It's not for everyone, you know.
Definitely.
But we hope to be at the meetings, again, all inclusive.
The meetings take place regardless of the numbers.
Yes.
Which is really important.
Yes.
That whether it's a dozen or 2 dozen people or even half a dozen, it's still available Thursday or the Tuesday, whatever it might be, in Blackpool, Kinross,
that's right.
Perth,
it's there. It doesn't matter.
You know,
we turn up, and if you want to come, it's there. You say, don't matter if there's 6 or.
Yeah, that's a big commitment, and again, that hopefully gives people the confidence that it will be there when they need it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if they don't want to come regularly or can't, but they know it's there that they can come along, and if they need it or they're lonely or it's there.
Different questions. As you've got to know your MS and about MS, have you made any changes to your life and what you do, how you eat, anything at all that you think is because of MS I now do these things, or is there anything that you've added to your life?
Probably making sure I get out when I can to something like the Elevate classes when they started to get involved, or going to the lunches, or just getting involved and being.
Yeah.
So yes, I haven't. Obviously, as symptoms change, you evolve your life to accommodate whatever symptoms
you work around
you've got. You work around it. Yes, you don't let it dominate your life. You just, I don't. Other than the days when I wake up and not today.
Yeah. Because
as you say, before you get out of bed, you know it's going to be, and you just have to give in to that. I think it's no good. I think you learn not to fight that. There are things you can push your way through to make sure you go out or you do something, but when that fatigue gets you, you can't fight it. You can't. You've just got to give in to it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've not gone special diets or I just try and make sure that I eat what I like so I can enjoy meal times.
I'm just always fascinated because there's so many like symptoms. There's so many variations in what people say, and some people do it with the best of intentions. It's like, try this and this will do you that. And
yes,
blah, blah,
no,
blah.
I'm not into.
Do you take any supplements or anything? So do you take anything prescribed for multiple sclerosis for yours?
Not any supplements, but I do take obviously the multivitamins and vitamin D on prescription. It was mainly because I read somewhere that everybody with multiple sclerosis should be taking vitamin D.
Yeah.
So I asked my doctor to prescribe it, and he was a bit, well, we'll see what your levels are. And I said, well, it's a thing that, all right then.
It's right up there.
Yes, it's right up there. So yes, just general turmeric.
So just general living?
Yes, just general living. Just the kind of vitamins and what have you that healthy people would take.
Yeah. And then when was your last relapse?
I suppose I don't get relapses per se.
Yeah.
It just
gradually
progresses.
Gets symptoms more intense.
Just more intense or worse or something. Or I suppose a relapse to me would be extra pain or
something significant
different. Yeah. Or like falling over. It's like when I started, obviously that was September probably, I fell in the town.
And did that happen? Did you get any dizziness or any vertigo type feelings?
No, all I got was my leg and my arm, my left leg and my arm, when I couldn't move them and they were sort of stuck out. They didn't just stop moving, they just went.
So they did their own thing.
They did their own thing.
Not communicating with the brain.
Yes.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
So I fell the first time, it didn't hurt myself. Just collapsed into a little heap on the floor. I'd bumped into a lady.
Okay.
And I ended up I knocked a handbag off her arm, and I think I sat on her bag.
Soft landing.
So that was the first one, which then got my doctor to get me back to seeing Professor O'Riordan. So, which was, I thought, oh, yeah, this is good. So.
And that was last year?
Yeah. After I'd had the first 4, so September.
Yeah.
So, when I got the appointment, I went in and Christine's there and he said, oh, it's a long time since I've seen you. And she said, was it you or was it him? I said, oh, it was him. He told me I had the wrong kind of MS. I wouldn't have said that. I said, you did then. I said, I've been told you're completely different now. I said that. And he kept doing this. Look, she's gone all floppy. Look, he was fascinated with, and he's kept my arm going like this. He's saying to her, look how floppy she is, look at this. So I think he meant that if I'd gone floppy, that was maybe what made me fall. But he never said that. He was just getting excited. He was entertaining himself by waving my arm up and down.
And did you get an MRI before your next fall?
I've got it in February. I've got it at the end of this month.
So you fell on Boxing Day?
Yes.
Indoors?
Yes, in the hall.
Right, and then you broke your hip. I mean, I know the answer to this question because back when you were diagnosed, or even prior to it, it sounds like it was quite a short window of time from the symptoms that you went with and you've been given the diagnosis. You didn't get a lumbar puncture or anything like that, did you?
Yes.
No, did you?
Yes, I did. And because, I'd forgotten that. I'd put it at the back of my mind.
Okay, not a great experience.
No, I think it was see one, do one, teach one. I think it was the do one.
Oh, right, okay.
And she couldn't do it. She was
I think I had that one as well.
You had that lady as well,
I
yeah.
think so. Same person.
Yes. So no, it wasn't the best of experiences, so much that he needn't bother saying he wants me to have another one, because I won't.
No, the MRI should be enough though.
Yes,
because
MRIs are so much better now.
Yeah.
We were talking a long time ago when lumbar puncture was the only thing that would tell him that I had MS.
Bands or whatever
yeah,
it is.
whatever.
I can't remember what it is.
So that wasn't the do one. Yeah, she was definitely the do one, and she didn't do it very well. Couldn't get the needle in, and she's horrendous.
Yeah, not great. I had a very similar experience, which I've shared before. It was a horrible, horrible experience.
Yes.
So here you are since, crikey, when was it?
94.
94.
So 30 years.
30 years on, you obviously meet people for the first time who come along to the coffee mornings and coffee evenings. They may have asked you for advice, but if you were to be asked for advice about multiple sclerosis, living with it or dealing with it, what would you give in the way of advice to people from your own lived experience? Not
embrace it, but just take the symptoms as they come, because you can't do anything about it. So just not get on with it. Just try and.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I don't know how to express it, but it is. It's just, you've got to get used to it. So you don't get upset that you've got a new symptom, or find out about it, ask somebody, or not just put up with it and learn. You've got to learn how to live with each symptom, haven't you?
Yeah, I think
yourself.
Yeah.
So I would say that don't. You can come and, tell them they can come and say anything, but everybody's journey is different. Yeah. So you've got to find a way of accepting it and accepting whatever new symptoms come along.
Yeah. I've found that everyone I've spoken with, but there's a strength, because I guess it depends on the point in time that you're maybe going through something, because you could just see it far enough. You're just like, I don't want this. I don't need this. Mm-hmm. It's not part of the life I expected to have. But the way they get through that, or what's helped them get through it, is that they've been able to get through something before as well. So it is a stoic kind of approach.
Yes, I think you're right.
It's a strength. It's the dark humour, the black humour, I think plays a part in being able to almost say F you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know just what you mean. Yes.
Especially if you've had 2 or 3 days in bed, because you just have to accept, okay, these days you can have, but I'm going to have the rest of the week, or whatever it might be. There is a doggedness, there is a determination to have as normal a life as you possibly can, wherever you are in that scale of symptoms, in that spectrum of symptoms. That's from the people that I've been able to spend time with.
Yes, and you find a new normality.
Yeah.
It's as you say, it's totally different than how you'd envisaged your life. Even if you hadn't envisaged your life, you hadn't envisaged getting MS. So, yes.
This is maybe a more difficult question. It just came to me because I'm actually being quite selfish thinking myself as I asked this question. What's the hardest thing about having MS? What's the most difficult thing about it?
Just the hellishness of the symptoms when they annoy you, or you can't do something that you did before, or you have to find a new way of doing something because your symptoms. I think, oh, for sake, 6 months ago I didn't have any problems doing that, and then there's something else to get on with, and something else to get on with, or you, as you say, you're stuck in bed for 3 days, and think, well, this is bloody boring, and not that you'd got anything else to do, but you'd be doing it not in bed.
Yeah, that's good. You want to do nothing on your own terms.
Yes, that's right. Not dictated to. I want to be, Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. Oh, that's magic. Covered quite a lot. Covered a big chunk of your life.
Well, it's taken up a big chunk of my life.
It's had it's played a big part. So, if you don't mind me asking, what age were you when you were diagnosed?
Well, what am I now? 72. So
Well,
40.
Early 40s.
Early 40s.
In hindsight, I do have one kind of last really broad question. In hindsight, before you had the pains on your right hand side, can you think of anything else that you now look back on and think, I wonder if that was actually maybe some signs or symptoms?
Yes. I'm sure there must have been that I would, if I was walking and one of my feet wouldn't pick up properly and
Drag a bit.
it had scuff.
Mm.
Because that still happens now with me. And I think, well, you know, and yeah, so something like that. Or I found it before I was diagnosed. I couldn't walk up a hill. My legs were struggling to walk me up a hill. Yeah. Then I think, well, that was obviously the symptoms in that I was losing the power in the legs, so they've not got the energy to get me up the hill. So yes, because I used to think, why can't I get up this hill? Why am I not walking properly? Why is it a struggle when there's no other symptoms other than my legs don't want to take me up,
and there's no reason for it,
and there's no reason for it. But you're looking back, then yes, I think.
It's difficult
it was
because
there. And to be honest, I think it was there when I was a child because we'd had the settee and I always sat on it with my legs up because I found sitting when I was little, sitting down like this, particularly when I was at school, was uncomfy.
Okay.
And the backs of my thighs would burn. And then I can see myself at home with my left leg, sort of waving. I can't do it as much with the hip, but I'll do it this one. Sort of doing this, and my mother saying, "What are you doing?" and putting it against the back of the high seat. "What are you doing? For God's sake, stop fidgeting." I don't know where to put my leg to get it comfy. But yeah, so I think looking back now, I think that was the MS in my leg because it wasn't, because I can think it was the same kind of, not an ache, but uncomfortableness because the inside messages weren't getting through. So yeah, I don't know where to put my leg to get it comfy. And of course she couldn't understand that.
Just growing pains.
Just growing pains, yes.
Just growing pains. It's such a bizarre.
So looking back, I think I'd always had it.
Yeah, it's just there, just simmering under the surface, and then it's inflamed and giving you the.
I've had enough symptoms to get it diagnosed.
Yes, and you've been through the test. You've had the MRI, you've had the lumbar puncture. You've been through the test, and again, it's one of those where you just had the wrong type.
Yes, I got the wrong type. Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story.
That's okay.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you giving your time as well. It makes a big difference, and certainly,
hopefully, something will resonate with somebody.
Guaranteed it will.
And can enjoy it.
Oh, they will. They will. I think your story, Blackpool, Bournemouth and Perth. It's quite a journey.
Yep.
Quite a journey. And then to have the MS that you've got with nothing really to support it apart from you as a person. You just get on with it. That's what's the word? Pretty inspiring.
Thank you.
Pretty inspiring. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking.
you.